Say change your environment from a weight loss perspective. Sometimes it can be small changes. He's flapping there. He very nearly changed his environment very quickly.
Right, so first of all, we had some nice scenery planned for you, and on the camera it just looked rubbish.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some sheep behind you, but really, it's just a bit of grass, and you can't really see the hills. So
No.
we thought we'd go up a tree instead.
Well, let's tell the truth. This massive dog came along, right? And we were obviously scared of dogs. We're like, feck
Let's get
that.
up that tree.
Yeah, hide. So it's gone now. Well, at least I think it's gone.
So we're going to randomly film this little video up a tree.
Yeah. You're a bit more balanced than I am.
I know
Right?
I've got this like really sturdy stick to hold on to.
First of all, make sure, if you haven't done so already, hit subscribe.
Yeah, we're getting lots of views at the moment, which is great. So thank you. But make sure you subscribe and get notified when we release new videos.
So, Stephen, it is time for another
Mindset Mondays.
Boom Mindset Monday.
So as you can tell, it's a little bit chilly today. We've got our hats and gloves on. Well, I've got my gloves on
I had
anyway.
my gloves on.
And then we're up a tree on a cold branch.
Yeah, hoping it's going to take our weight. Right, so this episode, we're going to give you the analogy first of all. And it's basically this. Is you see you had a fish, and that fish wasn't feeling very well. So I don't know, you take it to the vet, I guess. So if you're trying to treat yourself, do you just treat the fish, or would you also change the water?
It's a good question. The other way of looking at this is if you had a house plant and the leaves started to go brown and it started to sort of die and look pretty unhealthy, would you just paint the leaves green again? No.
You want to get to the root of whatever the problem is and then deal with it there. Otherwise, your fish will keep getting sick or your plant
Will keep dying.
Yeah. So basically what this episode's about is, getting to the root of the problem.
Yeah. Looking at you as an individual, and hopefully you're watching these episodes from us because you want to be healthier and happier. That's our underlying message. So if you realize a problem within yourself, are you going to just treat the symptoms like a lot of people do? Whether it's like, so again, one of our specialities is weight loss. So a lot of people will say, I'm going to go on a diet for 3 months. I'm going to try and lose this weight. But they never really change much about their environment.
Mm-hmm. They basically try and change everything about themselves, but they then maybe, now this could be harsh, but maybe they still socialise with friends who very much believe in not taking care of themselves or eating badly or drinking too much. So what happens is this individual may make every effort midweek to get to the gym, follow their diet plan, and then the minute they run into their friends or their group of their social circles, because they haven't changed their environment, what happens then? They just fall back into their own ways. And then ultimately they say, I'm not succeeding, the gym didn't work for me or whatever.
Yeah. Unless you change your complete environment, you're always going to go back to your old ways. Your body will always adapt to your environment. And that's really important to understand. You know, if you're trying to lose weight, for instance, you could change your diet slightly, you could change your exercise habits, but you have to look at the picture as a whole and change as much as you can about it, little by little.
Little by little.
So one of the most common problems that we've experienced with people who ask for our help is trying to lose weight. So you're trying to treat the symptoms of the symptom as being overweight. Okay, so I say, right, I'm going to go on this extreme diet. I'm going to fast. I'm going to do the 5-2 diet, or I'm going to stop eating completely. I'm going to cut out all the food. I'm going to go and do multiple hours at the gym and cardio training. And ultimately, you're trying to lose the fat, and it works. And this is then the problem. It does work, So going back to our analogy of the fish or the house plant, if I was just to paint the leaves green on my house plant and maybe prop up the stem with a little kind of wooden stick, yeah, it might look much better, and it will look much better, but it doesn't fix the fact that it is dying. So by you going extreme and trying to treat the symptom of being overweight just as it is, you're failing to neglect the environment.
Temporary fixes, that's the problem there, isn't it?
Yep.
So what we need you to do is to look at your whole environment, other ways, changing more than just your diet, more than just your exercise routine. Change everything, really.
Yeah.
Look at everything that's causing you to gain weight or be unhappy and change it. Make a whole lifestyle change, maybe one step at a time, but nonetheless have it in mind that you're going to be changing everything so that you're going to be this new fish in a new set of water, thriving.
Yes, and the way this works with the human mind is that the subconscious is actually responsible for 90% of our daily actions and what we come to experience. 90%, that's a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
And that comes down to, changing your environment. So it's the magazines that you read. Do you read gossip, trashy magazines, or do you read sort of men's health or women's health magazines? What kind of TV programs do you watch? Do you watch TV, or do you sit and read books? There's so many. What kind of people do you hang around with? What are your friends and family? What kind of message are they giving you? Everything comes into your subconscious, so you've got to be mindful of every aspect of your life and look at the environment as a whole rather than individual aspects.
So if we were to take some of these tips, let's say change your environment from a weight loss perspective, sometimes it can be small changes. He's flapping there. He very nearly changed his environment very quickly. So small changes that you could make to your environment might be something simple like, let's just say you've got a few people living with you at home. Now, when you're on, say you embark on a diet plan, and you know that when you get weak, you've got a craving for, let's just say, chocolate biscuits, or cookies if you're over in the States there. Now, the problem is that if you've got people in your household that also eat those biscuits, they're going to always be in your household. So that's, your environment is inviting you to fail. So ultimately, one of the small changes you could make is get everything like that out the cupboards. You've got to be strong here. Just say, yeah, I understand there's other people in the house, but for me to succeed, my environment must change. And therefore, all these foods that are ready for you to grab the second you feel like quitting your diet, they're too ready there for you. So you've got to get rid of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes work environments, perhaps you're in a work environment that have the sort of habits that there's cakes brought round at lunchtime, and suddenly that's part of your environment. There's nothing you can do about it. You're at your work every day, and there's cakes coming around, and it's inviting you to fail. So then it's a case of just making sure that you speak to the people that are bringing the cakes to make sure they don't come anywhere near you, to understand that you're embarking on a particular goal, and you need to change your environment, and that's not healthy for your environment.
A lot of people say, I wish I had more willpower. And what we're talking about here, and we'll do a more in-depth video on willpower, but a lot of people will think, I just don't have any willpower. Well, what we're saying here is try to negate the need for willpower. Change your environment so that, you don't need willpower not to have cookies. If there's no cookies in the house, you can't have them anyway. So it doesn't matter how much willpower you have or not. So change your environment and negate the need for willpower, or as much willpower. And willpower can come into it in small doses, and that's fine. But if you've got cookies at home, and this is just one example, there's only one example. If you've got cookies at home, then say you've got an iron will, I'm not going to have those cookies. If you're hungry, if you're on a diet, let's face it, if you're on a diet or trying to be fitter and healthier, you are going to get hungry from time to time. And if those cookies are there and they will talk to you day in, day out, every time you open that cupboard and you see them.
Hello, Stephen.
And what we're saying before about the subconscious, every time you see those cookies, your subconscious is thinking about that sugar and that fat and the niceness of them. Sooner or later, no matter how strong your willpower is, you're going to break. So negate the need for willpower and change your environment.
So ultimately, what we're saying here is changing your environment to get ultimate success.
Yes, change your environment for ultimate success.
Yeah.
There's the title of the video right there, right?
Yeah. So changing you is fine, but you need to change your environment too.
And speaking of which, I'm going to get down from this tree and change our environment before I fall.
Well, as we said, we're going to get to the root of the problem. And I think we're going to hear.
Let's get the root of this tree.
Was, yeah. I looked away, but the camera didn't.